INSiiGHTS Sports Talk.
1, 2, talk that talk.
INSiiGHTS Sports Talk. Traveling the country for the biggest stories in collegiate sports. Bringing you the news that will impact every college athlete in America. From the Ivy League to the SWAC, Big Sky to the Big Ten, Notre Dame to Grambling U, Miami or Maine. No university is too big, no college too small. We tell it all. INSiiGHTS Sports Talk with your hosts, the coach, Mickey Clayton and Clayton Smith. They're bringing you insight on all the latest stories from all the biggest names in collegiate sports. Join us for the next 60 minutes for INSiiGHTS Sports Talk. The sports talk show, the sports talk show of a different kind.
The mic is open. I'm your host, Mickey Clayton, the coach, and you are our guest on this edition of INSiiGHTS. This show is entitled The Sights and Sounds of the 2013 Atlanta Classic. This show is special for us at INSiiGHTS. It was our first on-location interview session as we prepare to have our first live interview at the HBCU Tip-Off Basketball Tournament next month in Atlanta at Phillips Arena. We are able to interview a lot of different people for this show. We were able to find longtime retired sports information director, the legendary Bill Hamilton, formerly of South Carolina State, and he interviewed with us. You will also have some words from the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Commissioner, Dennis Thomas. There are many interviews from the fans of both institutions from all age groups that weighed in on the Atlanta Classic. I was even able to have a brief chat with South Carolina legendary coach Willie Jeffries. Now, let me tell you about Coach Jeffries. When I walked up to him and he was at the pregame, the tailgating party sponsored by South Carolina State, everybody stopped to figure out who was this guy that was walking up to Coach Jeffries. Once he smiled and acknowledged and remembered me from days of coaching and shook my hand, everybody relaxed. But until then, they were in protective mode. You couldn't get next to him. He's like an icon and a treasure in South Carolina. You can go to our Facebook page at INSiiGHTS, INSiiGHTS, and see the YouTube video that features our pictorial from this game. But before the professor and I talk, let me thank all of the listeners who turned on and listened to Football and Band's Friends or Foes. That show has set records and did it quicker than barbecue ribs leaving a cookout. Congratulations to our students from the FSU Marching Chiefs and the 100 from FAMU. Thank you, Dr. Jackson from Southern's Human Jukebox. Yeah, they got it done. Everyone turned in to hear that show. If you were the one person who missed it, it's on our website, www.INSiiGHTS.com, 2 eyes in the middle, where you can listen to Dr. Jackson tell you what stadium turned the lights out on them while they were still playing in the fifth quarter. Not only did they turn the lights out, they turned the water on the grass, and they locked the stadium. Yeah, Dr. Jackson, we heard you loud and clear, and we'll have you on very soon with Dr. White, formerly of the FAMU Marching 100, and several other prominent names from HBCU bands. We will have them in a roundtable forum. There will be a very unique experience that I'm sure all of our listeners will love better than milk and cookies. Milk and cookies, that's right. Stay tuned to the many sides of this interview and for the Coach's Corner at the end. So, before we get to the energy of the Classic game, let's hear from MEAC Commissioner Dennis Thomas and let him talk to us for a few minutes. Then we'll take a break and come back with the professor, Alvin Hollins. I have the legend with me. I call him Obi-Wan Kenobi. Mr. Dr. Dennis Thomas from the MEAC Commissioner, and he's the legend in my mind anyway. And I was able to stop him up here in the press box and get him before he got started. And would you tell us a little bit about this game that we're playing, the Atlanta Classic with North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State, and what that means to the MEAC?
Well, I'll tell you what, you have to give 100 black men's credit for putting on this game. I think this is the 25th anniversary, and we're pleased to have 2 conference teams participating in this event. It's televised on ESPNU TV game, and the fans are going to be here. You have 50,000, 55,000 fans here today. So it's going to be outstanding. And my hats go off to both teams and to the 100 black men of Atlanta.
Okay. Thank you, Dennis. One of the things about the commissioner, he has a very strong and very, very competent and viable league. What would you like to say about the football that's being played in the MEAC right about now?
I think it's tremendous. I think the 2 undefeated teams here today with North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State. And then you have Bethune-Cookman is doing well, as North Carolina Central is doing well. So it's still up in the air. And I think we have to get to the end of October and the beginning of November before you can really see if the picture is going to clear up a little bit in terms of who will be vying for the championship.
One of the things we got coming in the upcoming show, we're going to do a special feature on the bands and do some of the directors. And what I want you to talk about just a little bit, Dennis, is the pageantry around the game, what the cheerleaders and the band and what they bring to the games that are being played in the MEAC.
Well, I think that's part of the show. Our games are just more than just a football between two teams. I mean, you mentioned about the bands and the cheerleaders, but you got a hell of a tailgate experience that kicks in at all of our games. And all the fans are out, alumni and supporters are having a great time. And guess what? Before the game, they're having a great time. During the game, they're having a great time. After the game, they start a great time back again. So that's what the HBCU experience is all about, the MEAC experience.
Now, see, Commissioner Thomas just told you it's more than what he just said in a sentence is that it's family. Everybody plays, they compete, but at the end of the day, they still sharing that barbecue rib and sharing food and fellowship with each other.
That's exactly right. And, I'm kind of partial to barbecue myself, so I go out in the tailgate and see if I can get a rib or two, and that's what that family atmosphere is all about. We're going to be great competitors out on the field, but once it's done, it's done.
Right.
And we still can come together as friends and say you did a good job, good luck to you the rest of the way.
1, 2, talk and talk.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Ronnie, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico? I'd say happier than a camel on Wednesday.
Hump day!
Get happy.
Yeah.
Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
I'm Dennis Thomas, Commissioner of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, better known as the MEAC, and I encourage everyone in the world to listen to INSiiGHTS. It's a great programming, and Mr. Clayton has done a great job and continues to do a great job, but it's going to be an even better job if we can get all of you to tune in and go online and experience the excitement and information, accurate information about what's going on in HBCU world.
Welcome to this edition of INSiiGHTS. I'm here with the professor, Alvin Hollins. How you doing today?
Doing fine, baby.
Oh, look at him, boy. We're sitting here today talking about the Atlanta Classic. And I was able to go to Atlanta this past week, and that's where the show is entitled The Sights and Sounds of the Atlanta Classic. Al, you've been to the Atlanta Classic a few times. What are your memories that you have of the fans and the support and that type of thing around this particular Classic game?
Well, it was a huge event. I mean, because when you think about the Atlanta Classic, FAMU and Tennessee State actually started the game back in 1989. We played it over at Georgia Tech the first 2 years, and we sold out that place both. I think it was over 42,000 both years, and then.
But Al, when I was down there, because I'm from South Carolina State, one of their fans were arguing that they played in the first Atlanta Classic.
No.
And I'd like to hear the professor. He said no. Go ahead.
No, I mean, essentially when the 100 black men in Atlanta decided they wanted to create a football game as a main fundraiser for, a lot of projects that they're doing, in the city, they decided to find the two. They looked at Tennessee State and FAMU, traditional rivals, halfway between Nashville and Tallahassee, and we've been playing since the 40s. huge fan bases and alumni bases in Atlanta be perfect. And it, for the most part, it worked out to be, a perfect meeting because we had been had a long-standing rivalry. So now after we kind of fell out with them, and then they wanted to try a few other things over the years, but that had been the most successful pretty much matchup that they had was between FAMU and Tennessee State. Both had great bands, great football traditions, legendary coaches. So it was a perfect setup for football and entertainment.
And kind of right there, centrally located between both institutions,
right.
Home cities. Now, with Florida A&M not participating and Tennessee State and FAMU playing home and home, it put the Atlanta Classic in a position where I think they tried to replicate that type of rivalry between the two schools, between South Carolina State and A&T. And we're going to come back in a minute, Al, and talk some more. But GT, I'm going to let you play a couple of those clips that we have from some of the South Carolina State fans that we interviewed in tailgating in the RV lots, and some of the A&T fans. And Big Al and I, we're going to come back and talk about it some more about this matchup. All right, this is Mickey Clayton. I'm under a tent with some Aggie fans, and they eating and getting their groove on. See, they like to do that Aggie pride. Can y'all do that?
Aggie pride.
See, they mean that, boy. They do that everywhere. I'm going to let this young lady introduce herself to you and tell her a little bit about what it's like to be from A&T and about playing the Atlanta Classic, being a participant here this year.
So, hello, everybody. My name is Kia King. Of course, I went to A&T, Aggie pride. I'm out here with all my fellow Aggies as we enjoy this great Atlanta Classic and as we get ready to hand the Bulldogs that L as we have done thus far with other opponents that we have faced this year. So, as you know, as Aggies, we travel near and far to support our fellow team and our Aggies. So, once again, if you're here in the area and you're an Aggie, come out here and join us at the Falcon Stadium.
Now, this is a radio show, but you can't really see her take the microphone from me and just start talking. Now, she just took it, and I just had to get out of the way because she was rolling like that. So that's what they do. Hold on just a minute.
That's how Aggies do. I'm sorry. What more do you need? An Aggie pride? You need another Aggie pride?
What the game means to you? Anything about A&T?
I am Danica Woods. I am a proud graduate of North Carolina A&T State University. Can I get another Aggie pride? Aggie pride. And this game is going to be all that it can be because we're going to win.
Can one of you young ladies tell me what it's like, the pregame, the tailgating, what's that like? She pointed at a cup, so I know what that meant, all right, y'all? One thing about them, they're going to keep it real. So one of y'all want to tell us a little about the pregame?
Sure. So, pregame, this is how we do. We out here have a good time. We like to turn up, as those Aggies do, especially with G-Ho around the corner. You all know that because it does trend nationally. So, as you can see, you can come out here and see your fellow Aggies with our shirts on representing our blue and gold. And as we pass each other once again, look at each other, whether we know you or not, and shout Aggie pride.
Now, she took the microphone again, and I don't want to come over here after she get one or two more of these cups filled. It'll be on this. She'll grab it before I even get over here to her. So we're going to make our rounds through here, and if they're still over here live and kicking, we'll come back and share some more with you. Thank you, Aggie fans. Can I interrupt you guys?
Yes, sir.
I'm with INSiiGHTS. It's an online sports radio talk show, and what we're doing is interviewing people, talking to them about the Atlanta Classic, about South Carolina State being here, and how they feel about that. Okay, I see both y'all got your South Carolina State paraphernalia on.
South Carolina State's supposed to be here. Okay. We are what we're supposed to be. That's right. We're supposed to be here. Okay. We should be here every year.
Okay.
That's right. We going for that MEAC again.
Okay.
And not only that, we're going for the FCS championship. We're on our way to Frisco, Texas.
Frisco, baby.
Frisco.
You ought to see them. They're pointing towards Frisco now.
That's right, baby. That's right. We learned directions at South Carolina State.
The one-on-one.
You better know that.
Tell us
the Bulldogs.
And about your experience at South Carolina State.
My name's Elgin, class of 1993, Alpha Phi Alpha, baseball player. Loved it. If I could do it all over again, I would. Right. Yes, sir. Thank you.
My name is Larry Emanuel Ryder II, class of 01, South Carolina State, Kappa Kappa Psi, Marching 101, right, Bongo brother. Right. It is what it is. You know, just because we're in your league don't mean that you in ours. Salute.
Oh, did y'all hear that? That was pretty good. Now, he might not have to copyright that one, because that was one right. And then when he said that, I wish y'all could, this was on TV, because he said and walked away like he threw the microphone down and made his point. So you could tell he was in the band, okay? Tell us some more. Coming to Atlanta and playing this game against A&T, how significant is that?
Well, the MEAC championship's on the line. They've proven to be a formidable opponent, so today will determine a lot in terms of who wins the MEAC championship.
All right. This game has gotten so serious that we couldn't even have it in the Carolinas no more. It ain't big enough to hold it.
Come again.
Dome Sweet Dome belongs to the Bulldogs. We claim the throne, baby.
Now, this man who's talking this stuff now, he was in the band. Now, I want you to know that we do have a segment coming up in a few weeks, and I'm going to pull some of his bites, because I'm going to ask him about what is it like being in a HBCU band and playing for South Carolina State.
It's an experience like none other. It's white lightning in a bottle, and everybody just got hit. Whistle your halftime.
Best in the world.
Best band in the land.
Best band in the world.
That's right. Once again, just because we're in your league don't mean that you in ours.
And what band is that we talking about?
That would be Marching 101.
And who is the Marching 101?
That's South Carolina State. That's 101 reasons why we better than you.
Okay, you got it live and in color here from the Atlanta Classic. Thank you.
1, 2, talk that talk.
Let me tell you something. If you took away the money, if you took away the fame, the spotlight, if you took away the lifestyle and all the things that come with it, if you took away all the flash, what would you have left? Everything.
I'm Bill Hamilton, retired sports information director from South Carolina State, and I encourage you to listen to INSiiGHTS. Enjoy.
Now, if they can't say anything, they can say Aggie pride. They can say that, Kate, the Big L.
Oh, no question about it. It drive you nuts if you're not Aggie.
Let's say drive you nuts, Big L.
Oh, yeah.
And those blue and gold jackets they like to wear, especially when you go to MEAC basketball tournament, they in there thick in those blue and gold.
But that's where they, well, we know from basketball experience, we used to call it the Aggie Invitational. They used to rule that tournament for a long time. So they got a lot of pride, justifiably so, in their brand.
That's true. And one of the things from there, you got some quotes from different people. And I was able to meet Coach Jeffries, or re-meet him and introduce myself to Coach Jeffries, Willie Jeffries, the legendary coach emeritus at South Carolina State. And we intend to interview him later on part of our Legend series. That interview went well. And I was able to go over to the fan experience. They traditionally host a lot of various activities. Wasn't as well attended as it had been in the past. Everybody was at the Coors Light tent. And why you guess that was, Al? Why you guess they were at the Coors Light tent?
They wanted some Coors Light.
And they were giving it to them. So hold on a minute, because I think we got a clip here from a Rattler who was at the Coors Light tent, and they were having a good time there. Hold on just a minute. INSiiGHTS is going to come back and let you hear this interview, and then we're going to take a break. Remember, follow INSiiGHTS on Facebook and Twitter, INSiiGHTS, those two I's in the middle. Go to Facebook. You'll be able to see the pictorial of the sights and sounds of the Atlanta Classic. INSiiGHTS. We're live at the Coors Light over in the fan experience, and you ought to see them grabbing each other trying to see who's going to talk to me. But I found a Rattler here, so I want him to introduce himself, tell the listening audience who he is and what he's doing here.
Well, this is George Mr. Opportunity Olikin from the highest of 7 hills, Florida A&M University. I'm here in Atlanta at the Atlanta Football Classic, representing 100 Black Men of Atlanta. This is probably the biggest fundraiser for scholarships to send kids to school, and we're out here having a great time. We are turning up. We are enjoying each other's company. It is a big old activity for everybody and everything.
And that from a man from the Hill who's active. When he was active in student activities back on the Hill, he was involved in everything. In fact, he was the one underneath pushing the hill so it would get even taller because it made it more difficult for people coming behind him. But he's always entrepreneurial and looking out to do things. Tell us a little bit about what this game means to the greater community.
Well, here in Atlanta, this is a time for people to come together, to really come together for a cause. It's something bigger than just coming and watching two schools come and play, but it is actually the biggest HBCU experience on any side of this United States of America. We are doing some great things in the community. The 100 Black Men of Atlanta and the Atlanta community are sending kids to school. We've sent probably hundreds of students to school on full rides based on this game, and so we're excited about all that everything is coming along with it. Matter of fact, I see Elliot is one of the guys who has benefited from the 100 Black Man program. Elliot, if you give him a little bit about who you are and where you're from.
How you doing? I'm Elliot Teray. I'm a member of the 100 Black Men of Atlanta. A member of the 100 Black Men of Atlanta. Also was one of the original recipients of the scholarship offered by the 100 Black Men. So over time, I've over 25 years now, I've been involved with this organization in one way or another. I've benefited and continue to benefit as a member by being able to, by giving me a venue to reach back into the community that I come from.
Thank you, George, for taking over my microphone. He always did take over. He did that even when he was at A&M. But tell us some more. Give us a little bit more information about the scholarship and what that allowed you to do as a result of that. Tell our listening audience a little bit more about how that actually does benefit the students and what happens as a result.
The scholarship in itself is as much time as it is financial. The students that are selected to become beneficiaries of the scholarship, they also receive mentoring from members of the organization, as well as members of the Emerging 100 and Collegiate 100. So they get exposure that they probably would not normally get exposure to. In addition to being able to go to college campuses, being exposed to robotics and other things, they also get to engage one-to-one with black men, successful black men, with their families, going to their jobs, learning about new careers and other opportunities that, again, it would probably be unlikely that they know about and gain exposure to without the scholarship. But the scholarship in itself, the financial part of it, which is probably the part that stands out in most people's mind, is a full 4-year scholarship, 100% paid, that the students receive, and it's promised, and all they have to do is go out there and earn it. And earn it means getting accepted into college. We're willing to take up the bill for that because the whole purpose of this is to end generations of uneducated cycle. And I'm trying to think of a proper term. And I'm trying to think of a proper term, politically correct term. Generations of being uneducated as well as underperforming. I guess I would say in our communities.
Well, thank you. You got it straight there from a scholarship recipient itself. And as the insights continue, we're going to take a break right now because they're sitting here. I'm not going to drink the beer, but I'm going to get me something. Thank y'all.
You think you colder than me? Turn on the radio. Me. Turn on the TV. Me. Turn on the movies. Me. So what you got?
Coors Light?
Don't mean nothing.
Ice Cube is cold, but Coors Light is super cold.
Oh, it's on now.
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Hi, my name is John Grant, CEO 100 Black Men of Atlanta. I am a proud listener of INSiiGHTS.
One of the things you have to say, Big Al, there's a lot of energy around the Classic games and around the Atlanta Classic. And the South Carolina State A&T game being played there seemed like it was going to be a good draw for them. But it's kind of difficult, I would imagine, in some of our Classic games when you change up your format a little bit, from what you normally do.
Well, I think the organizers of those games have the same issues the bowl game folks have, finding the right matchup. Now, like we said earlier, FAMU and Tennessee State was a great matchup because of the rivalry that the two schools had going back years. But when you get away from, I guess, your stronger teams like the Southerns, Jackson States, Tennessee, FAMU, then it becomes a little bit tougher because you got to find the right mix of fans. Now, and some, like you said, some people say they travel well or whatever, but when you actually put the rubber meets the road in a 60 or 70,000 seat stadium, are they going to fill it up? Now, Atlanta is a good, is a mecca for, African Americans as far as Classic is concerned, but, you still have to try to find that right mix. And most Classics suffer, from not being able to get the right two teams and get them matched up.
Well, I think, and something you said, we'll follow up on GT from our pre-production meetings when he made the comment that it's relative in terms of travel well.
Right.
Some institutions say they travel well, but what does that mean? If you're a smaller institution, you might think that you travel well because 1,000 people go. And some other institutions, they might travel well with 15 or 20,000. I know that at Florida A&M University, we were discussing a home game with a major institution. They told us our facility wasn't big enough because once they rolled in with their guests from out of town, they didn't have, said, where the FAMU people going to sit? Because we're going to take all those seats. So travel well is all relative,
right.
But one of the things that goes on at these games, you get a chance, as we had somebody talk about the fact that they are in a position, they meet friends and fellowship. And one of the things that always seems to be a problem or a highlight, depending on how you look at it, is where do you draw the line between the activities that go on in the pregame as compared to the game? That you enhance the game experience, but people sometimes have so much fun doing the pregame activities, they don't go to the game. So how do you balance that, Big Al?
Well, I mean, it's actually kind of a problem even for our regular home games. People tailgating and all that, and some folks just stay out, listen to the game on the radio, and continue to put the shrimp on the Barbie. So I think it seems to be more.
He said, "Put the shrimp on the Barbie." Go
right,
ahead,
David.
Big Al.
but I mean, it seems to be. I don't know, for some reason, and I think it's been kind of a disconnect the last 10 years or so, where some fans never come in. I mean, I've gone to Atlanta and other places where it seems like there's almost as many people outside as there are inside it. They may report 60,000 fans, and you look in the stands, you say, gee, I mean, where are they? And you go outside, I mean, you can't walk. It's packed. So a lot of times people like the social atmosphere of hanging out so much. The game, they just buy
Plus
a game
it's cheaper.
ticket. Yeah.
You got FSU and Boston College were playing. They were showing all the people in the parking lot saying that the football coach sure wish he could get them inside to come in and support his team.
Right.
And then there's other places we've done we've looked at them, Al. You on the committees with me, and there are places that you go and play that they shut down tailgating 10 or 15 minutes before kickoff. And you can't tailgate. You have to do it after the game resumes because people are entertaining themselves and don't go to the game. So it becomes you try to create so many activities and things around the game to get people excited that in some instances the game becomes second or third.
Well, I mean, I guess you could almost make that same argument in the minds of some people about the bands. Some folks come some people come just for the band. If the band's not there, I'm not going to worry about it. Or when the band's there,
that's the punch and counter punch Clayton and I had a couple weeks ago.
They leave at halftime. So I don't know. It seems like a lot of fans now are, they want more than just the game. They want to be entertained, and sometimes, like you say, you can maybe actually get yourself in more trouble by trying to lure people to the event. and that's a good thing. But then, do you actually get them in the stands to support the team? That's why I think some folks actually, in those situations, they insist that you at least buy a game ticket.
Well, South Carolina State did that. You know, if you don't have a game ticket, you can't even get close to the arena.
Right.
And Florida A&M talked about that one time, and there was such a backlash on it that they decided not to do it. But people were trying to find a way to make so that the university could recoup some of the funds from people just having a good time. They wouldn't buy a ticket. They wouldn't go to the game, and then they'd stand out right next to the game, watch the game over the fence or through the fence, and the institution itself wouldn't raise any money from it. So it presented a problem. But we're going to take a break right here, and when we come out of the break, we're going to hear some more from the sights and sounds of the Atlanta Classic as we had a chance to talk with some more individuals connected with the game, a few legends of the game. But right now, follow INSiiGHTS. Any questions, comments on Facebook or Twitter, 2 I's in the middle, INSiiGHTS, INSiiGHTS.
1, 2, talk that talk.
I'm waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals. I'm waking up. I feel it in my bones.
Hello? What up, Dre? Hold up, I gotta finish something. Talk to me.
I'm live and uncolor again. I got some more guys with me here, and they're just on their way to the game. Introduce yourself and tell us where you're from. What brings you to the game?
My name is Marcus Bass, former SGA president, North Carolina A&T, 2010 graduate, currently living and residing in Charlotte, North Carolina, here enjoying the Classic, ready to see the Aggies get this win today over the Bulldogs.
See, I like the former SGA president, so you know all the stuff that goes on. So the students really help fund the programs at A&T a little bit?
Oh, man, I think the student support at A&T has been phenomenal over the years, man. From homecoming alone is probably one of the largest student events, and that is going to support over across the country. So I think a football game, a classic like this, is definitely going to get the student support and definitely going to get the funds needed to keep this team going.
Okay, at A&T, do they have student athletic fees associated with it? And so they get free access to the games?
Oh, yeah, students get free access to all the home games. It comes a part of their student fees. Classes and things we don't get they're able to pay for, but most of the students that are coming, they definitely made arrangements for the university to get some student rebated tickets, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, what do the students do that spurs energy and excitement to the football team? Tell us about that. So you come as SGA president, so you opened yourself up for a whole different line of questions to our listening audience, but they want to hear that. Tell them to us so that everybody out there will know what goes on and what Aggies do.
Right. Well, when I was student government president in North Carolina A&T, we had several organizations that really boosted student attendance and participation. Aggie Maniacs is the whole crowd section. Aggie Live Wires, they're all dressed in gold. They get the crowd hype during the football games, basketball games. Also, we will rank top 10 in the nation for crowd atmosphere during the NCAA ESPN matchup back in 2010. So our students know how to draw the crowd, and they definitely know how to bring them in. And it's crazy. It gets crazy in the football field, and it gets crazy in corporate sports arena.
Well, before I leave, I'm gonna would like to get a way to contact you, because you already gave me an idea. If I can get together some of my former SGA presidents and talk a little bit about the experiences at HBCUs and how important the athletic component is to what goes on, would you be willing to do that, young man?
Most definitely. I'm connected to several former presidents throughout my time in North Carolina. Still connected to a bunch of different ties as far as HBCU association. So I think it would be great to have HBCUs across the state, especially presidents, talk about their past experiences and how student athletics really boosts student support and participation in athletics.
Man, if for nothing else, that might be the best interview I had today. Thank you, young man.
Appreciate it, man.
And now, see, he just said it real hard for you to come behind him.
Oh, man,
but
he ain't said nothing hard, man.
Oh, he ain't say nothing hard. Tell him your name and where you from.
Justin McCullough, WSSU Rams, coming live and direct. We here at the Classic showing a little support to the HBCUs and letting you know it's all love in the family.
And that's good from Winston-Salem, man. You here supporting your in-state school and stuff?
Yes, sir. You know, it is how it goes. We all got to support one each other out here. It's hard times, and hey, we all sit together. We're going to get through these times.
Do you think that's really important that black colleges stay together and play each other, or how do you feel when a lot of times the black schools go out and end up playing those money games? What does that do for a school?
Well, those money games are necessary, you know, for the revenue and for the different fees associated with different events we have on campus. You know, our student fees we do have for athletic department, but they are free. Games are free for the students. So, you know, you come to Winston State, you're going to get a quality education, and you're going to depart to serve.
Okay, now tell me a little bit about basketball. What's basketball like at Winston-Salem?
We're currently doing our thing in basketball. We are currently ranked in the nation. I'm sure we're in the top 20 this year again. We're looking for another 4 successful season.
Okay, you got that from a Ram. He's here supporting the Aggie. They've been around here hollering that Aggie pride, but we appreciate you being here, man.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Aggie pride.
1, 2, talk that talk.
I think we're lucky out here today. I told you we just had a chance to talk to Coach Jeffries, and we got, looks like a couple of his football players standing over here, but I'm going to let this young man I'm talking to introduce himself to you, tell you when he played for Coach Jeffries and what brings him to the Atlanta Classic.
I actually live in Atlanta. I played with Coach Jeffries back from 89 to 94. Went all to play in the Canadian Football League, 12 years, Hall of Fame. But the things that Coach Jeffries taught me, and Coach Blacknell, former Coach Blacknell, God bless his soul, who taught me, you know, the game, was enabled. I took those talents and took the reading abilities that he taught me up there to the Canadian game, and was able to, you know, to be able to expand my game as well.
Okay, tell the audience your name and where you're from.
Joe Mumford. I live here in Atlanta, but the funny thing about it is I'm from Beaufort, North Carolina, so all my family and friends went to A&T. I was just able, Coach Jeffries came down in the country, down in the sticks, and picked me up and pulled me up and gave me a scholarship, so wearing that garnet and blue today.
Well, tell us, what was it about Coach Jeffries in South Carolina State that made you want to go there, and what did you draw from him off the court, off the field, that really helped you?
Well, if anybody knows Coach J, he's a people person, you know, and regardless outside of football or what you do for him on the field, how he treated me, being a star athlete, and how he treated the person that was just coming in and walking on and doing whatever, it was the same. And to a certain extent, because he always come back and tell you, he say, I love everybody to death, but I'm gonna treat everybody the same way but different.
That's right. That would sound like Coach Jeffries. That would sound like him. Tell me, what is a game like the Atlanta Classic, playing the South Carolina State A&T game here in Atlanta? What does that mean? What does that do?
Well, it's huge. I mean, before we used to play A&T like the last game of the season, and a lot of times it'd be a little bit cooler. But as you know, us black folks, we love that hot, that sweaty weather, and to be able to get this game done early into a mega city like Atlanta, it's huge. And a lot of people just want to come down with the big airports and fly in, have fun, enjoy themselves, and see people that we hadn't seen probably in 20 years.
Hey, tell me a little bit about the pregame and everybody out here tailgame. What does that do? Because I saw the look on your face when you saw Coach Jeffries. I saw that. I wish there was a way I could capture that for everybody. But tell us a little bit about the pregame and how this is going, talking to people.
Well, you know, the biggest thing, you know, you get guys from both sides of the field, and they texting you, oh, Aggie pride, we Bulldogs. And so we going back and forth, and you can see the love that you have, not only just for your teams, but the mutual respect that you have for black college football, and that's a huge thing.
Okay, when you played, who was the toughest opponent that you played?
You know what? I got a chance. I talked to Jay Walker. You know, he's gonna be on the radio a little bit. I talked to him a couple of times. So Jay Walker was definitely a big competitor for us and for our league, and did a lot for our league, and still continue to do a lot for our league. So our utmost respect for him.
Okay. I thank you for taking the time to come share it with us, and we look forward to you and your success. Go ahead, South Carolina State. Thank you. I'm walking up to some more Aggie fans. This is we got an online sports radio show.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what we have, and what we're doing is interviewing, asking people about the tournament. I mean, about the game. Ask them about what it's like to be at A&T.
Okay.
And maybe you could introduce yourself to the listening audience and tell us about what we've been hearing all over the parking lot, that Aggie pride or something that we're hearing about?
Aggie pride is always, it's nationwide. Here with some of my alumni friends from A&T, Mr. Tom Irvin.
Aggie pride.
Mr. Juan Tillman over there. We have a bunch of folks here, and we're just enjoying the festivities. Atlanta's been great to us. We're really enjoying the whole Aggie Pride here, and of course, A&T's going to win the game, so it's going to put us at, 5-0? Oh, yeah, so it's a done deal. It's going to happen. It's going down like that.
What does it mean to you to play the South Carolina State Bulldogs, which they say they're the real Bulldog? What does that mean to play that game here in Atlanta?
Well, it's really wonderful simply because in the past 20, 25 years, I have to admit, South Carolina State has probably won more games, but it's about today and it's about now. And we're going to win this game. It's really important. It's a battle of the Bulldogs, and we're going to let you know that Aggies are the real Bulldogs.
Now, we got a segment coming up in about 2 or 3 weeks that we're going to talk about black college bands. Tell us about the Aggie Band and what does that do to the fans?
The marching blue and gold. That's all I need to say. Drumline. That's all I need to say. I mean, you patterned the movie after us. With A&T, marching blue and gold, wonderful band. Now, South Carolina State has a great band, but A&T is naturally just the best band in the nation.
Okay. You've heard it here from another one of those Aggie fans. Aggie Pride. That's all they're talking about.
1, 2, talk that talk.
When it comes to being better, what's better? Being better or worse? Better! Okay. And what are you better at?
I'm better at telling jokes.
Okay, let's see what you got.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Queen.
Queen who?
Queen, my dishes, please.
Queen.
It's Queen to make it funny.
He doesn't get it.
It's not complicated. Better is better. And AT&T is the nation's fastest and now most reliable 4G LTE network.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to know I got 2 legends from South Carolina State with me. When you're up here in the press box, you never know who you're going to run across, but legends just fall out everywhere. I'm not even going to say who they are. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you.
Bill Hamilton, recent retired sports information director at South Carolina State University. Transition might be a better word because I'm still helping out.
I'm Van Gaffney, one of the original officials of the MEAC, and I'm helping out here at South Carolina State.
He one of them officials that probably threw me out of the game one time when I was fussing too much, told me to get my ass out the game and go into the locker room. He probably threw me right out. But we got these gentlemen right here from South Carolina State, and Bill, tell us a little bit about what this game being played in Atlanta, what that means for the SC State fans and A&T fans.
Well, it's always a great venue for us because this is the second largest chapter for South Carolina State. Of course, D.C. is number 1, so we got a lot of fans support here, and it's great to come to a venue like this, you know, and it's a great matchup. You know, North Carolina A&T is undefeated. We've won 3 in a row, and this might be an early sign of who's going to challenge Bethune-Cookman for the MEAC title.
Well, we appreciate that. Now, I've been outside in the parking lots with RVs and tailgaters, and those SC State alumni said they're going to show them who the real Bulldog is. But you got an avid group of followers. Does South Carolina State travel well like this traditionally?
Exceptionally well, and that's why we get in a lot of these classic games, and we're really excited to be back in this one. You know, we played in the very first one, you know, Southern and South Carolina State, you know, 25 years ago over at Georgia Tech.
Oh, see, now that's an interesting fact most people didn't know. They played in the first one, but see, Bill Hamilton and Big Alvin Hollins, see, they go way, way back. What I need to do is get Big Al and Bill on one show and just let them roll about the MEAC stories.
Oh, that would be great, man. Alvin, he was a great colleague and a good friend, and I'm happy that he's staying busy just as I am.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that very much. Now, as you come around, I'm going to let this gentleman here, Mr. Official, talk to you a little bit, but I didn't know he was SC State alum.
Yeah, I graduated here in South Carolina State in 1969 and started officiating in high school and college football. In 1970, when the MEAC started, they used to call me the baby boy, and I used to officiate with Paul Glenn and legends, you know, the South Carolina crew. And Earl Mason was the commissioner then. So, yeah, it was a great time before Ken Free and all those guys got in. Yeah, so it was. We met in Durham, North Carolina, and at the old Ramada Inn, and Okay. And so we'll go back quite a while.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask him a different line of question. As you look at the black colleges, what do you think our biggest challenges are in our athletic programs? What do you think our biggest challenges are to be successful?
Well, finance is one. You know, we don't have the money, and I don't care what organization or what you do, you need finance. You got to have the resources and the facilities and stuff to recruit and keep the young men and women who participate in sports, and give them, you know, the black colleges or black universities always gave quality education, because you can look at all the successful people who went to HBCUs who are very successful. So education is not a problem, but getting the update technology and facilities and stuff is really one of the things.
Okay, basketball season is right around the corner. You know, that's my baby there, basketball. But what is your perception of the level of competition that we play in the MEAC when we go out and play some of these guaranteed games and games that we play and non-conference games? How do you think our teams fare?
Well, again, you know, a long time ago when I first started, we were getting all those great super athletes who are now going to your bigger schools, and so the talent level is getting better, though. We're getting to the point where we can compete some of these big schools, and because basketball's a game, it don't take a whole lot of people to play, and the skill levels and stuff are getting better, so they can't recruit all of them because of scholarships. So we're getting some of them, and some are transferring back to us. So our chances as we get on is getting better and better.
Okay, as an official, I'm going to have you pull in. Tell me one of the funniest things you heard a coach say to you during the course of a game. Because, you know, we known for losing it a little bit, and I'm sure I did a couple times. Oh, I wish y'all could see the big laugh. He probably got about 20 he could pull. But pull 2 or 3 that you might have heard that the referee, that one of the coaches said to you that you were like, wow, that was pretty good.
There's so many I had to think about it, because and some of them I really can't say over the
yeah,
No.
Okay, I wish I could see him laughing.
It's hard to say. Really, it's hard to say, because I haven't thought about it in a while. I have to think about it, because I remember it was up in southwest Missouri. And back in those days, we had split crews, you know, one from the MEAC and they had 2 from their conference, excuse me. And the coach called the other officials and said, hey, so-and-so, tell him what conference we're in, who are you supposed to be calling for? I said, I didn't know I was supposed to be calling for a conference. I thought we were supposed to call a fair game. He said, not in this conference. I said, well, you're not going to be here to find out. Bye.
He was looking for you to give him that call out.
Yeah, you do that, you know, and some of them tell you, you know, that this is the last time you're going to be here. I said, I sure hope so. You know,
oh, so you had something to give them back, huh?
Yeah, sometime. And, you know, it was just, you had to let them know that you weren't intimidated by them, because they were the big schools and we were coming up to play them, and we wanted to have a fair game, you know, and so you try to make it even. I always told everybody, I gave everybody the same opportunity to lose.
Yeah. I like that, same opportunity to lose. I must have had him calling some of my games.
Yeah, I did.
Well, I appreciate having a chance to talk to you and meet you up here again. And anything you'd like to say to the listening audience?
This is a good opportunity for everybody to really adhere to, because I know Mr. Clayton and his staff, and you got excellent people, and I hope it's very successful to you, and keep up the good work.
1, 2, talk that talk.
Blow up last season. Every win. Every loss. Every headline. Blow it all up. Because all that matters is what you do next.
I'm walking up in the middle of a bunch of blue and gold. It looks like the Aggie Pride. They've been yelling at everybody going by. They didn't need much encouragement. They just ran with it. See, we got an online sports radio show, and we're going to be talking about this game. And who'd like to talk about it? Who'd like to say something about A&T? Now, a minute when they were in a group as a choir, they were real strong. Where's my soloist?
Right here, he wants to speak.
And say he wants to speak. See, they already identified. Tell us about what it's like to play this game, South Carolina State, North Carolina A&T, here in Atlanta. Tell us what that game is like.
First off, you said South Carolina State. They're going to get the hell beat out of them.
I like that.
We don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
We Aggies.
Okay.
We ain't going to lose.
You ain't going to lose?
No. You can forget it.
Your alphabet. A is the first letter of the alphabet.
Oh, see, I done got an alphabet lesson.
Come over here.
See,
we have some people.
We have some people over there?
Yeah.
Now, all the women pass this on to the men. Now, I'm not going to say nothing.
That's fine.
I'll say that's fine. Okay, young man, introduce yourself, please, and tell us about what this game between North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State means being played here in Atlanta.
It don't mean nothing to us. We're looking ahead to the full season. We don't go one game makes our season. We're trying to be undefeated, not win a game.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Now, I really think anything he said, they'd have cheered for him, y'all, because that's just how they are.
1, 2, talk that talk.
Well, usually we have a punch and counterpunch segment that we're not going to do this week, but because we're doing the Sights and Sounds of the Atlanta Classic, it would be a disservice for me not to talk to Clayton Smith, who attended both institutions. And in our pre-production meetings, there were some things that I thought that Clayton shared with the team that would be really interesting for everybody else to hear. Because as we talked about the South Carolina State, North Carolina A&T rivalry game, Clayton had some really good insight in terms of that and the rivalry or the significance of that game. Clayton, would you share that with us?
Yeah, Mickey, since I was a former student athlete at both universities, a lot of people don't realize that.
Wait a minute, you played for two teams? Let me stop. This isn't punch and counter punch. I'm sorry, I just went on automatic pilot there.
But hell yeah, I played for both teams.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me get back in my lane and let you roll with that.
Well, as a former student athlete at both South Carolina State University and North Carolina A&T State University, I do realize firsthand that the two schools are really not natural rivals. It's kind of a forced rivalry when the MEAC was formed. Of course, South Carolina State came out of the SIAC. A&T came out of the CIAA. So A&T's natural rivals really were Winston-Salem State, who stayed in the CIAA, and North Carolina Central and Howard University. Howard University is a huge rival of A&T's. Howard University. But South Carolina State's main rival that's now in the MEAC is Savannah State, since they were both in the SIAC. And of course, South Carolina State also has a larger rivalry, a natural rivalry with Florida A&M because of the SIAC roots and Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, and I know when we traveled, particularly basketball, South Carolina State and A&T were paired together. And remember, in basketball, we would play one and get on the bus and ride all night to go to the other one. So being in Florida, a lot of us just kind of paired them together.
Yeah, but it's just a travel rivalry. Okay. You know, they are about 142 miles apart, and so they were matched together from the beginning of the MEAC as travel partners. But A&T's most natural rivalry is North Carolina Central, which is only 40 miles down the road. Howard University, which I said, their rivalry goes back to 1926, and the other rival would be Norfolk State.
Yeah, okay. And they even finished 7 and 8 in homecoming attendance. One drew 20,000 last year, A&T, and South Carolina State drew 19,000. Okay. You know, so how do they traditionally travel well? Do they travel well?
Well, yeah, both schools really do travel fairly well. Like you said, travel is relative. But A&T's fan base likes to travel a little further north. They love going to Howard. They have a huge fan base in D.C. They love going to Norfolk State, which is something they really just started doing again over the last 10 years.
Which explains why I saw so many A&T people at the MEAC basketball tournament in Norfolk. They were everywhere.
Right. You probably had more people. I'm not going to say that. You had traditionally, you would have a lot more people at the MEAC tournament with A&T in basketball than you would have at somewhere like the Atlanta Football Classic in Atlanta.
Because of their success historically they had in basketball.
Right.
And when they had the A&T Invitational every year.
Right, when they had the Invitational.
Yeah, it wasn't the MEAC tournament. That was the A&T Invitational. Was it 7-8 years in a row?
Yeah, but they did it over 3 different times.
Yeah, that was George Corbett.
Don Corbett.
I'm sorry. That was when Don Corbett was the coach. And
Correct.
he was... Coach was really rolling them pretty good there.
Right. Gene Littles,
That's
Cal
right.
Irvin.
Okay. Well, Clayton, we appreciate you sharing that with us. INSiiGHTS is going to take a break right now. And remember, INSiiGHTS, Facebook or Twitter. Keep up with us.
1, 2, talk and talk.
This is the coach. We're live at the Atlanta Classic, and we got a die-hard Aggie fan right here. Would you introduce yourself to the INSiiGHTS audience?
I'm Andrew Barr, Walter, class of 05, BE Spring 2003 initiate, A&T undefeated, 4-0. We about to take it to them Bulldogs. They don't want none. We the real dogs.
See, that's what I like, that spirit that goes on right there. Tell me, what y'all doing out here today before the game? Share some of that with what's going on.
Man, we just tailgating, eating a few ribs, a little bit of chicken, some potato salad, baked beans, all the good stuff black people like with all the trimmings. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I know exactly what you're saying. You here from Atlanta, or did you come down for the game?
Oh, no, I'm an A-Town Aggie. See, I'm born and raised here, man. Bred here, too, man. You know what I mean?
So you really excited about this game? Now, South Carolina State been handling it to you for a minute now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll get them this time, though. It's a different team. It's a different year. You know what I mean?
Okay, now we're going to switch just a little bit. Tell us what about that MEAC championship that the Aggies won in basketball. Talk a little bit about what that meant to North Carolina A&T.
Oh, man, that was huge. That's huge, man. The notoriety that they brought for the school to the nation, man. Let everybody know we was here and we ready for prime time.
Okay, that's live on site here at the Atlanta Classic from a diehard Aggie fan. Thank you.
For your meeting with the coach in the coach's office.
You are here with the coach in the coach's corner. On INSiiGHTS, we stay away from the traditional. We don't do much on scores, individual players, who scored the most touchdowns, who hit the most jump shots. We try to give you a behind-the-scenes view of athletics, particularly college athletics. Our intent is to gradually work towards doing live shows with listeners able to call in or send questions to us on Facebook or Twitter. This was our first step into making that transition. This show was taped on location with live interviews from the spectators and fans of those 2 fine institutions, South Carolina State and North Carolina A&T, who had no idea they were going to be interviewed. Now, what happened is we also had people from the community who came out to the Classic. We interviewed a couple of them. These are games and events that require and need the support of everybody, Classic games everywhere. But there were several things that stood out to me at this game. I've attended several Atlanta Classic games as a part of the staff at Florida A&M University, but this show was not about that. We wanted to capture the feel of the game, to let our listeners hear it. We wanted to see how the fans felt about the Classic game and share that with you. I think we were able to do that. Classic games have been a part within HBCU culture, so much so that many of the other smaller majority institutions have created their own classics and created their own bowl games. If it works, don't reinvent the wheel. Congratulations to South Carolina State and to North Carolina to A&T and to the Atlanta Classic. Yes, the attendance was down for this game. It was down last year as well. Will the Atlanta Classic reinvent itself from a game that's played host to 2 traditional rivals? Or will it become a classic that alternates teams that participate, giving more schools an opportunity to play? We will be listening to see the future of the Atlanta Classic and what path it takes as it keeps on working to enhance itself. But I'm sure you were able to gain some insight into how the participants felt about this Classic event. Stay tuned for next week's show on Women in Sports and Title IX. Thank you for your support of INSiiGHTS. Keep up through your social media contacts. 2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS. The mic is off. Thanks to the crew. Alvin Hollins, our director and sometimes co-host. Clayton Smith, our co-host. Arnett Moore, our music producer. Julio, the voice of one, our blogger. And our producer, Gerald Tooks of G Squared Production. Talk to you soon. INSiiGHTS.